So, hey guys, and welcome to the first CBRX PRCast. This is a podcast with the power rankers and some of Blue Cassette. For this first installment, we're going to be talking about the rankings of Part 0 and giving our opinions and analysis as to why we've done things. In the future, it's going to be talking about the part as well. So why doesn't everyone introduce themselves, starting from the top in the Discord channel? So, Cloudberg, you're first.
Hello, it's me, Admiral Cloudberg, the resident AI game wizard, creator of Groundhog Day and Power Ranker. I guess that's about it.
All right, Koyot. Oof.
Clap.
J-Man.
All right.
Hi, I am JMAngelo67, commonly called J-Man, sometimes known as Ticky James on Twitch, where I'm hosting this, where I'm helping to host Lunar's channel. I am the guy who founded the PR team for MK3 Mark III back when that was a project, and that kind of just shifted over to CBRX and MK Mark 2.1, and well, here we are. Also, I'm active on Civ AI games, but not for the AI games. I really just talk about football. And when I say football, I mean soccer for we Americans.
Right, Lax.
Hi, I'm Laxrax Oriscal, and I consistently ranked Boas outside of the top 5 for pretty much the entirety of Mark II. And that's basically my sole contribution to this community. Also some map stuff. That was all.
Like all the map stuff. I'm Lordy. I'm new power ranker coming in for CBRX, and I kind of came up with the idea for the podcast. I released a Svalbard mod. Yeah, that's basically it. I've been around AI games for a long time. Luna?
And from old to new, we have me. I'm Lunar Needle. I'm the guy who just happened to wake up on one morning and join T-Pank's crew, later forming Blue Cassette as one of the main members inspiring the revolution, putting in a whole bunch of hours to release Mark 2.1. I'm going to be a community manager and elsewise just an overall chill dude and the official head panels of Blue Cassette, monitoring the game and all of its successes and bloodshed, let's just say.
Surde?
Hi, I'm M. Surde. I'm one of the power rankers. I started in about part 70 of the Mark II, I think. And I've been with the team ever since. And can't wait for CBRX.
Scissor?
I am Scissorfingers. I am the one who made these slides here that we're going to look at today. I also made the Cantonese Pirates mod and the India mod that we're doing that is participating in CBRX. And and I've been a power ranker ever since Mark 2.1.
And finally, Techno.
Hello, I'm Techno. I'm the guy who you'll probably have to blame if Uruguay winds up taking over the world, which would be honestly disappointing, but that's the mod I made. I've also been a PR since, I believe I started it around Mark 2.1. I've also done some narrations for some parts here and there, and I like to host Diplomacy Royales.
All right, so that's introductions done. We go to first Civ, which is Haiti, and number 61. Anyone want to talk about that?
All right. Okay, I'll just open up. Being the one who has done a lot of testing, not as much as some of the others, Haiti has always been a wild card in a lot of ways. Early on, they were consistently awful, bad, terrible, and every other acronym between. But they have odd potential to do really weird things. I'm looking at Venezuela. I'm looking at Florida. I'm looking at settling the Panama Canal. I'm looking at, for some reason, having a random African city. I've seen pretty much everything when it comes to Haiti, but the one thing that is consistent and why I do still think that they are the worst is just their expansion bias is too low. They're in a cramped area with all their coastlines heavily contested. They're just in a worse position in every single way than their Buccaneer counterpart.
Yeah, I mean, additionally to that, their uniques are just not really suited for domination at all.
Well, you cite Haiti settling Africa. If Haiti's settling Africa, that means they're not selling the Caribbean, and someone like Suriname or Uruguay is probably selling the Caribbean instead. You see, that's the problem with Haiti. When they're settling somewhere else, they're just not selling where they're supposed to be selling, and that makes them even more vulnerable when they do those crazy things.
My favorite thing about Haiti is that they might found voodoo, the religion. And I think that will, if they do manage that, and there is I should say to anyone who doesn't know, we've expanded religions in CBRX. It's going to be, I think, 16 of them, hopefully, if they all get founded. And if Haiti managed to get one of the religions in this game, then I think voodoo will probably outlast them, and that's fun. That's cool. Yeah, I ran a few tests of them as well, and it's... I mean, it was always fun watching them because certainly in the tests, they nearly always got into war with Venezuela very early, and they always put up a good fight, but just not good enough. But I love them, and they're my friends, and they're also my children, so I hope they do well. But not much faith, not much hope.
Except that's all they're going to have is faith and hope.
Yeah.
Well, one of the only things I can say in favor of Haiti is that they're not often the first to die. Like sometimes that goes to UPIC, sometimes that goes to either Australia or the Murray. But Haiti, because they're on an island, at least they have that going for them. They don't die super early. They die early, but not super early.
Yeah, I think Haiti's going to be in the bottom 10. They may not be 61st, but they'll probably be somewhere between that and 51st.
I think it's 61st. The word is 61st.
Yeah.
You even said 51st.
They were unanimous. Like, they have the lowest standard deviation of any civ.
Yes,
I think
the highest ranking Haiti had received on our spreadsheets was 59th. I don't know who that was from, but I think basically everyone was going 60th or 60th.
I have only one person lower in my own personal ranking, and that is UP.
I think what's damning about Haiti, I think what's damning is that everyone else I mean, BC obviously ran loads of test games, as I'm sure Luna can attest to, loads that we didn't see. But of the ones that we saw, I think Haiti were the only civ that I don't think ever had a good game. I think
they did have one game where they invaded Venezuela. That was a good game.
Yeah, Haiti took Venezuela's capital once. That was it.
Briefly.
Oh my god.
It was a magnificent moment. It was their high point, absolutely.
If they can do that again, even for a turn, I'll be really proud of them. I'll be really proud of Haiti this run. So I'm backing them, and as they say, I love them. Yeah, there's a reason they're bottom. And
I mean, we can still say they're not the worst civ they could have got in. They're better than Jamaica.
Oh god, yeah.
I've never seen Jamaica found more than one city. If you give them a second settler, they won't even use it.
They're too chill. They're too chill. They don't need that. They're not about domination.
Did Pygrade make any other civs other than Jamaica?
Oh, I think he did. No, I can't.
Because
someone should look that up.
I'll have a look.
Is there any? I was just wondering, is there anything anyone else wants to say first? Because I have a closing statement on Haiti that's pretty important.
Go for it.
Go for it, man.
Okay, closing statement. I could say without doubt the run that we had was based on a seed that was one of the most interesting. We had a tangential split where Coyote ran his own, and Rion ran the official. This is great.
Hello, Andy.
Hello, Andy.
Hi, how are you? Turn your mic down a bit and lower your input volume.
And put yourself on push to talk if you can do that.
Also, hey, Andy. Either way, this is one of the most interesting seeds, and anything can happen. You see Haiti here, they can reach any rank. I am not discounting any possibility when it comes to them, and I know you guys are going to be impressed with a lot of the lower seeds. Even there to
we are online.
Hi, Andy. So, Andy, just want to give us a quick intro about who you are?
It's a stream.
I was trying. Oh, Andy's just no. Never mind.
Oh shit! 20,000 ms.
Oh, rip.
Oh God.
Oh no, you might not be able to hear us. Everyone.
I can hear you guys now. I can hear you guys now. Earlier, you sounded like you were hitting piano keys.
Andy, just in case you don't know, because I actually have no idea, this is streaming live. I hope you know that.
All right.
Yeah, that's a general idea. Wait,
Okay,
you're
good.
telling me people are hearing what I'm saying? Oh,
Yes.
sweet.
Oh yeah, the world is.
Just
Oh,
because
hey, there I
chat,
am. Okay.
chat have been doing a bit.
200,000 listeners right now. We're actually live on BBC One.
Oh shit.
We are live on BBC 4.
Wait a minute, no. I'm looking
Well,
at
they
the
told me
chat. Come on,
BBC
guys,
One.
come on.
No, it's the Women's World Cup. The Women's Girls on 1.
Oh shit.
And it's
Anyway,
good.
let's go to 60. Let's
All
go to
right.
So
now-
just
60 more of these.
Before that,
Okay.
I would just like to explain the format of the slides. Not much has changed, but if you notice the PR comments on the bottom, that's something that we've added. It's mainly a way for an insight into the minds of the PRs that would not be otherwise
Into our
visible.
bloody insane minds,
through-
yeah.
That would not be otherwise visible through just a write-up. So this is just our humor. So this place will be taken up by some rambling, some neat observations that we see, or just some funny things that I find on this PR Discord. So yeah.
Mhm.
I like it
mean,
when you talk to us, Scissor, because it's like you're talking to us from like
A bubble.
another dimension. It's like
from Hyderabad.
like some kind of
Yeah,
liminal
your
thing.
voice has a little bit of bubbly pops to it. I originally disliked it, but the more I hear it, the more aesthetic it is. So I don't know.
At least I can say
That's because I'm sick right now.
It sounds the same.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was
no.
Right
just
now,
gonna
I
say-
am nursing a cold.
What do I
so-
think of the socioeconomic impact of tea in mainland China? Tea is the good shit.
Tea is the good. That's actually one of my close friends. He doesn't
I
even
need a cup
know
of tea
it.
now.
He just knows because I'm streaming.
What do you... Okay, is this live? Can the podcasters see our questions if we have them? Yes, we can see
That
it.
will be a yes.
That should answer that question.
That'll be a yes. This is completely live.
I was just going to say, because the chat sort of all screamed it at once, and Tim did as well. Pygreat made Newfoundland. That would have been an interesting set.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I love Newfoundland.
All right. Any
Newfoundland.
closing statements?
Sorry.
Were they
Anyway,
eligible?
I am currently signing a bunch of paperwork so I can hopefully get
Newfies what?
$2,000.
Nice.
University awaits.
Newfoundland were not eligible.
Damn. Right,
What
let's move
Quebec?
onwards because we will genuinely be here all night. And I don't know about you guys in America, but it is already midnight in the UK. So
Yeah.
number
Oh.
60 was Minoa, I believe.
Yep, that's correct.
Personally, I think Minoa should be ranked higher than that.
Minoa to Winnowa.
Minoa to Winoa.
Thing is, being stuck on Crete is not... They have to get lucky. I mean, yeah, they're good, but that's when they're on land, and frankly, being stuck on Crete ain't a good position.
Minoa did well in one test. They're lower than the Manx, who did well in none. So I think
They're-
that right there.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Doesn't their
Yeah, they're
second
Manx.
settle starting
The only thing I remember the Manx from is from being elected World Congress leader in that one absolutely beautiful AI game Lax was running a while back.
Thank you.
What was that,
thank
2
you,
years
thank
ago?
you.
That's
Yeah,
probably
I
the
agree.
only reason they're in, because that's what made them pop.
They're also in because Cloudberg memed the hell out of them.
I
Not
think,
just
hang on.
Cloudberg.
We can
Shout
Just
out
out of
to
curiosity,
Limousine.
what's the time delay between us and the actual stream thing?
Time
15
silent.
15 seconds, Andy.
Oh, sweet.
We can get to Man in a bit, guys. Let's focus on Minoa.
Yeah, so Minoa, there's
For me, the reason that they're so much lower, and again, I think actually I maybe would have put them a little higher now in retrospect. But the thing is, compared to say Man or Scotland or some of the other island civs like Tonga and Sulu, who are quite exposed, who are quite like alone and by themselves, Minoa are like right next to the Ottomans. They're right next to Nubia. They're right next to Palmyra. All it takes is for one of those three civs, Libya as well actually, and Venice. All it takes is one of those 5 civs to build a really good navy really early on, declare war on Minoa, and they can just surround Crete and take it in like 3
yeah,
turns.
I mean,
They're so
like
vulnerable.
that happened like Portugal took Rome and stuff.
Frankly, in
and, like,
hindsight, we should have ranked Minoa much higher than, say, Kwekuro or some of the other low ranks. But
The thing is,
At least
Manoa do
Kokoro
have a
lives.
better AI. They do have a better AI. They are capable of so much more. They of some of the civs that are ranked higher than them, and like this could be one of those instances where we put a civ in 60th, and then it comes around to fight.
Sweden, yeah, Sweden.
so this is basically our next
50
Korea.
turns later, they own the world. But at the same time, it's hard to deny that they look more vulnerable, I think, than anyone else in the cylinder right now. Like they are so exposed there to so many civs, many of whom have big naval focuses as well. So
I mean, we thought Korea would do shit after they took bloody well forever to settle their second city, but then Mao
they ended up
actually
fifth.
shot himself.
Yeah, and also like if we're ranking based on chance of winning, Minoa don't have the best chance of winning overall just because of their like location and locale, so to speak. I think.
Give
Am I
government
right
my
thinking?
money.
Am I right in thinking that Minoa's second settler starts in Greece though?
Manoa's second settler, as far as I'm aware, doesn't have a permanent starting location. When I ran
I
test games, I
believe
tended to put it in
it
Africa.
moves. I believe it moves to Africa, but my memory is so far gone. I wouldn't be surprised. I think the rule that we gave when it comes to a settler that has to teleport between two equidistant areas was, to put it simply, the one that generally will not screw over the AI the most. For instance, Sulu. There's
Yeah,
a lot of
Sulu.
similar
They're the ones that got
side-
in the rappel thing.
Yeah, and the Manx. I always say Manx. That's not right. It's man. Either of those, we basically chose on what would be the best for the game, rather than what would be the most
I'm just
logical.
hearing from Koyot, who's in Discord. Apparently Minoa puts it in the water, so they settle along the Nile.
Okay, well, shows what I know. I just remembering what I did for my games. I settled it more along the lines of what felt comfortable.
I have to say, with Manoa, I'd say that they have probably the worst start in the entire CBRX, given how little land they really have to sell. They just have the shore of the Mediterranean around them, and not even the entire shore. And that's not a lot of space. I mean, they've got a good AI, but even the best AI can't make use of that terrible of a start.
I was also going to say,
I do want to. I do want to mention just how good their AI is. Though they were in my original setup for the very first edition of Groundhog Day, and I had to redo the entire map because Manoa won several rounds in a row. I could not get them to not win. They also
Good memories.
Crossroads of Eurasia, which was a massive land-based map, and they started on their TSL in a true start location in Crete with nowhere to expand. And they lasted till the end game, and they killed several civs with XCOM squads.
I was just looking at their uniques. Yeah, looking at their
That's
uniques.
bloody beautiful.
Based on city populations, golden age points, they're on a one-tile island, so the capital is going to not even like get that big.
On the contrary, it's going to get very big because they start with optics and it's surrounded by fish. They just build a lighthouse immediately.
But like long term.
I mean,
It's gonna be beautiful. Manoa ends up on Korea.
Pretty
Honestly.
big.
yeah, remember Australia's cities out in the Pacific?
Yeah,
They
but
were like-
Braga
Whatever
was
is
even
named
bigger.
Harbor.
Cost
Coffs
Harbor.
Harbour.
Yeah.
Brand wasn't like Braga like 50 pop or something.
We can never forget Honolulu.
I can't remember how big Bragg was.
Rip.
I don't think it was 50. I would like to say that the highest Manoa was ranked by any of us in the Part 0 rankings was 43, which is actually higher than expected. But
Yeah, I had them at 58.
I'm trying to
Yeah,
remember.
Most of us had them around 58, 59, I think.
I've been realizing I'm trying to get a word in for like the past 5 minutes, but my push to talk wasn't working. So
Clap.
that's just bad luck on my. So I just thought you guys didn't want to hear what I wanted to say. But
J-Man.
No, Lax, you're great. You're great.
That's J-Man.
Yeah, that's J-Man talking.
Oh shit. I have 15 days.
Give him the mic.
I have 15 days to get this disability stuff to my healthcare provider. Shit, I shouldn't have procrastinated. Damn it. Sorry, that's irrelevant.
So what I wanted to say about Manoa as a whole is that even though I probably wouldn't have put them in 60th, I still would have ranked them in the bottom 10. And I kind of have to say I kind of blame that in the weirdest way on the community, because we did have a vote that determined the Ottoman capital true start location. It was between
Constantinople,
Edirne, Ankara, and Constantinople, and we chose Constantinople. I know, always blame the community, right? But had it not been for the fact that the capital was in Constantinople, if it were in Edirne or Ankara, then Minoa itself would have been an absolute powerhouse of a civilization. But I think Lax hit the nail on the head that there are so many coastal civs that can build gigantic navies. To me, it doesn't matter that their AI is strong enough to make the best out of a bad situation. Based on what they have available to them, they are set, as far as I'm concerned, to be curb stomped almost by anybody who just gets a good dice roll on a naval bias. Whereas the Isle of Man, at least, are set to survive for a while against Scotland.
I got to step in and say, I think the poll was between Edirne, Constantinople, which is Istanbul, and Bursa, I think. Those three cities are basically just like next to each other as well. So it wouldn't have really, I don't think it would really have changed that much.
But it wouldn't have given the coastal capital to an extent.
Ankara shouldn't have been in the running because Ankara wasn't a capital city of Turkey until the 1922, whatever it was. I think Bursa would still be coastal on the map. It's not coastal in real life, but it's near enough. I don't think you could have put it inland, really.
It was one tile off, making it 3 tiles away from Constantinople.
Okay, fair enough.
And then, like, Edirne is the default capital.
But hey,
also,
of course Istanbul was going to win because people loved it out.
If we're no longer talking about Minoa, then can we move on to number 59?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, Cloudberg, you can have them, man. You can have them.
Yeah,
All right,
let's
man.
Oh my
the
god.
first meme civ, everybody. The Isle of Man.
Hey, this is at least the third meme civ.
In my opinion, of the meme civs, this is the best. Fight me.
No, not
you
I agree.
Oh, I don't think that's a meme. Anyways, to give a good idea on my opinion of Isle of Man, your first city is your defining moment. If you settle Ireland, you are a lad. If you settle Britain, you are a lad that is going to maybe kill Scotland. In either way, the Moors will get you.
I still love how in the image we just got sent in Discord, the Moors spawned in fucking Zaragoza in Northern Ireland. Oh, what would that be? What part of Ireland is that?
I don't think the Isle of Man ever settled Ireland.
Well, I mean, they at least have land on it.
Luna, can you put that picture up on the stream just to show people?
Oh, okay.
It was from a European test, so I think that's fair.
Boop. Doop, doop, doop. Doop, doop, doop. Oh, it's cutting some of it off because the way I have. Okay, I'll just zoom out.
Application of the bongo drums. Wait, what now?
That guy's memeing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's my meme.
You can see the shot. It's the Moors went to town in this particular test. Although I should say they had more room to expand initially because this was a European test where the map was kind of inflated. So Moors got like 6 cities in France, which they won't get to do.
So I know this screenshot is about the Moors settling Ireland, but the most notable thing in this screenshot is that Minoa has taken the capitals of both Isle of Man and Scotland.
Minoa to Winnoa, boys.
Minoa to Winnoa is basically the endpoint. So
let's talk about the Isle of Man. Like Cloudberg, J-Man, you got them in. You wanted them here. Why do you think they're going to do?
They're one of the only civs that, in all of the test rounds, when I look at the mini maps, I can't find them, which is not a good sign.
Oh. It's because the Isle of Man is one tile. You can't see it.
Well, yeah, but then they don't have anything else. if they did, I'd be able to see.
Nice.
I'm sorry. I heard my name being said, but I didn't hear the full line. So can
I
you say
was
that again?
just saying, how can the Isle of Man do well according to?
The Isle of Man has really two great options. It could either destroy the settling game of Scotland and force Scotland to settle north by settling the English Isle, or
Which
they
totally
could settle
fucks them.
Ireland and settle there. But Andy, are you like playing with cardboard right now?
Oh, yeah, sorry, man.
It's
But
all
yeah,
good. No worries.
I mean that is a good point.
I was just going to say, Isle of Man, if it ever took the Ireland option, it would always be the better option for them because they can actually build larger cities and they can focus on Scotland later. But from what we've seen, Isle of Man really settles two cities. Makes sense considering the historical context, the AI context. But if Isle of Man never declares a war and, never tries to actually fight off Scotland, then it could never accomplish anything. Hence why this is a bottom 3 civ for me, as it is for most people. And not to mention that the true start location of the Isle of Man is way too close to Scotland. And so sadly, even though I'm one of the guys that says it has to be two civilizations on the Isles, for me, this was one of the worst combos. I would have preferred Wales and Scotland, England and Scotland. Actually, my prime pick would have been Wales and the Picts, but
true. I echo the Picts, although I'm a big Isle of Man fan. I think the thing that gets people down about the British Isle civs is we saw in Muck 2 a real ruthless game from Ireland where they did all the early settles well. They demolished England, and it still came to naught because the British Isles are just not a good place to build an empire from, ironically, compared to real life, where they're a great place to build an empire from, apparently.
On a bigger map, Robert Scotland is amazing because of all the hills in Scotland. But because they're coastal, like, you can take it with the coastal, and Robert's naval biases aren't that strong.
You live by the Scottish coast, don't you, Lottie?
I can see this. If it was light outside, I could see the first and fourth from where I'm sat.
Can you see any Minoan or Moorish ships?
Oh god, there's a steam packet right there. Oh my god, it's a man ship.
Guys, it's
confirmed.
Part 10 leaks for you right there.
The timelines are merging.
Hey, Glory.
That looks Brazilian to me, but
God, not again.
I'd say
I can hear the bossa nova.
I'd say that the Isle of Man's biggest problem is that they start on, the Isle of Man, but then they can't even get off an island until they somehow settle France. I mean, they're stuck on the British Isles until they can really get a foothold on the main, and that's just not enough of room.
Yeah, I feel like
an island off the coast.
Main European civs are going to just be able to take over that coastline before Isle of Man can get there.
I mean,
not only did those civs take the mainland coastline, I mean, they settled the British Isles before the Isle of Man and Scotland are even done with that.
Yeah, Scotland play really tall, which is terrible because the ground that's up there is the worst part of the British Isles.
I think we're probably done with Isle of Man now. I think I'm a big Isle of Man fan, as you know, but there's a really obvious reason they're in the bottom 3, and it's because they start on the Isle of Man. And honestly, I don't really think we need to expand on that much. I think.
Okay, let's go to a more. Do you want to go for a more interesting, low rank than talk about Prussia?
Are they in 58?
They're in 58.
Russia's off 58.
I think this is our first controversial. It's a real shame Doom isn't here because Doom could talk at length about how doomed, ironically, he thinks Prussia are. Because I think he's certainly the one who feels most passionate about Prussia.
I actually had them the highest at 44.
44 still not that high. It's a surprise given they're a fairly belligerent civ with more space than some other civs who are higher up than them. So why do we all have Prussia so low?
They're just somehow bad at existing.
Well, I was a big pusher of the Prussia is going to die early viewpoint, but I still think they're too low. I don't remember where I put them. I did my rankings months ago. but I think it was a little higher than this. It was like 52 or something. And really their start is quite bad.
55.
The land is flat and it doesn't have a lot of production, and they're surrounded by other civs.
The Poland problem.
Also, Aaron has them at 39 as well.
Coyote says Prussia's stinky. So that's we can assume that's an official Blue Cassette statement. Luna, can you confirm?
Let me think. I can confirm they do smell rather bad, but it is the times.
Yeah, that's what that Conning Gratzer shampoo will do for you.
The thing about Prussia is, more than anything, I think our views on Prussia were generally swayed by the test runs. I think you'll see that in common for a lot of the civs that we have ranked a bit out of place. I think the further up we get, the more emotional the ranking gets. But a lot of these further down ones are ones where we saw the test runs and we saw a civ that just never achieved its potential. That doesn't mean it can't. That doesn't mean it couldn't. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all odds and it's all luck. But we just never really saw Prussia break out.
Well, Prussia did garbage in most of the test rounds, which is why I ranked them pretty low. I wish they could do better, because Prussia's a civ that historically did a lot more with only a tiny bit of land, but they just can't do that in the Civ Battle Royale. So
I think
for that reason,
they are kind of like Hitler, though, in that they are all like Wilhelm II Germany. They're a civ with amazing domination uniques, like actually fantastic uniques, but they have to combo them in like the industrial era, which they just never get to.
Yeah, they come so late. And you see that a lot with civs with great late uniques, just never getting to use them.
The exception,
I'm thinking all the way back to Mark I North Korea now, who have some really powerful uniques later on in the game.
They're three.
They got annihilated in the classical era.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I think the only civ that has like super late uniques that will get to use them is Hawk Australia.
Well, that's a controversial statement right there, but we'll be getting to that in due.
Yeah, I'm Australia top 10 team, so.
I don't agree, but we'll see. We'll get there. You
don't agree because you're wrong.
Ooh, shots fired.
When it comes to Prussia, I think they have potential, but so far they've yet to realize it. However, I will say I would have had them higher than Muscovy, who for me are just Prussia but even more disappointing. But we'll get there when we get there. Shall we go to slide 15?
I have an opinion that is very contrary.
Okay, hit us.
I see Prussia as. Oh wait, there we go. I missed the button. Push to talk.
That was
not used to this button, okay? It scares me. Okay, I see them exactly like I see Finland. I see them as capable of pushing and fighting with incredibly little, but I could see them also being eliminated in two parts spontaneously by a power that just did more than them. I could see very, very, very bloody Europe on their beachheads, in their cities, but it will take actual diplomatic mastery as well as very, very good opportunistic wars. I understand why they're this low, but I don't know about you. I could honestly see them splitting Europe in half, or going east.
I'm hoping for.
Although in my tests, this is a spot they deserve. I'm
hoping for a bloody Europe, because I think a lot of people complain. Well, not complain, but observe sometimes that European civs don't really get a fair shot because it's so crowded. But one of the things I remember about Mark II is that in the early game, a lot of the regions that became really exciting later on, we're talking Southeast Asia, we're talking South America, we're talking even North America to an extent. They were quite boring in the early game because there was so much space.
But Europe is interesting.
Europe just gets hot straight away. It just immediately was. So it's really, I think Europe is a really good region for the first 10 parts. They're really entertaining. And if Prussia have a good part in that, then I'll remember them fondly. I think maybe that's why I've got them ranked so low, because it's not even that they...
Prussia is in Königsberg,
they're bad. They're often just quite boring.
Prussia's in Königsberg.
Yes, that's where they start.
I really want Prussia to do well, personally, because I think they would be a really nice late game civ. It's just, I don't see many timelines where they do well. So, yeah. It's a sad shame.
My lasting impression of Prussia, to be honest, the civ, is Burger Krieg talking about how metal the name, the Death's Head Hussar. So,
that really is.
But they don't do much in game.
Should we go to
I-
57? I think we're repeating ourselves a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
One last
Money
thing. At least they have a nice color scheme.
That's true.
They do have a nice colour scheme. That is.
Yeah, 57 is now Venice, which are the Champa of the MKX.
Are
What do you
saying
mean by
they're
that?
the Champa because they have a purple background, or
No, because they make loads of money.
Are you judging them by their color?
I think of Canton being the Champa because it's kind of Asian pirates, but
No, but it's the money.
Venice, the blind crusaders, I guess, with Enrico Dandolo as their leader. Just in case anyone's kind of new to the thing, and you've seen Venice in Civ 5, this is a mod by Chrissy15, aka C15, which allows Venice to build more than one city, as well as giving them a whole new set of uniques. So they're not just going to be stuck to just Venice and the non-existent city-states in this game. They will be able to expand. However, they won't be able to extend very much because, boy, are they cramped. They are cramped. I think Czech Republic was a really bad role for them as a neighbor because they're quite expansive quite early and very nearby. What do you guys think?
So I think Venice's big problem is that, much like in real life, you can't rely on the invisible hand of the market because it doesn't exist. So what I mean by that is that their entire ability is focused around making gold, and it's not going to do anything for them, especially not in Europe. The AI doesn't really know how to use gold, and it's just going to.
If anything, Venice needs an Uruguay level power up, but that's not going to be fair to anyone else. So there's no real point in having these gold uniques.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Techno, want to go make a Venice overhaul?
All I would do with the Venice overhaul is actually make them buy stuff with their gold. I mean, that would probably make them actually, do well. And maybe make them buy settlers, because that's one of the biggest problems with Venice is that while they can settle more cities, it's not something they really like doing all that much.
The other thing is that... Go on.
I think it's a real shame that Venice don't found many cities, because I wrote the city lists for this game. And Venice was one of my favorite. I really like the city list I made for them. It starts with like the Venetian islands, like Lido, and Murano and Burano, and then a few like cities of Veneto, and then like Ragusa, and like their big colonies in the Dalmatians. I think it's one of my favorite cities.
I think the other thing
and they
is
never
that
use.
The Turks can also block off, I think, is it the Aegean? So they can't even get their units out into
Adriatic,
yeah. But the Turks can completely fuck their like entire naval UU by just meaning they can never get it out of the Adriatic.
Rant says, how many times do Venice build more than 3 cities? In test games, not often. They tend to occasionally get the Italian peninsula down, and maybe sneak a city in the south of France. But they're quite bad at settling the Balkans.
They're basically Rome 2.0.
yeah,
For what it's worth, they usually do better than Rome did in Mark II.
Well, Rome came last. That's not hard.
Yeah,
I was going to say, I believe Venice, in all the tests that have been made public, the most cities that they have settled are 4. And even then, they don't actually lock down the Italian peninsula in full. Usually Libya actually gets some land from their coastal city in Tripoli.
Libya likes
that's just
getting
a fun
Sicily.
fact.
What was I going to say? Oh, Doom is in the Discord chat now. Doom is a fellow power ranker. You will notice on the slide we have up all 3 PR comments are from Doom. Just delete Venice. Venice do nothing, then just die. Venice won't go anywhere. Like Prussia, Doom is quite passionate about Venice and thinks they won't go anywhere. And I'm sure he is saying as much in the chat. I'm not really. I've got kind of one eye on the chat at the moment. Yeah, I think we're all kind of agreed that Venice just suffer from a lack of space, suffer from a little bit of a lack of ambition. Ultimately, not an awful civ, just wrong place, wrong time.
To be fair, there are very few good Italian civs.
That is true. It's very. There is one
surprised.
really good AI, but it is Corsica, and so I don't think they do that well in the CBR.
Excuse you, to Sicily.
2 Sicily.
Yeah, okay.
Also,
2 Sicily uniques.
One of the popes has a really good AI, and I can't remember which one it is. Cloudbug.
Innocent the Third.
I think it's Innocent the Third. Yeah, that
Also,
one.
actually, no, to be fair, I was wrong. Jar casts Samnites.
Oh wow, that's a deep cut. I haven't used them.
They murdered Clinton and did a good job on Yom's Vikings at one of my tests. So
The Sam Knights murdered Clinton, guys. You heard it here first.
Heard it
Yep.
here.
If only.
I didn't even know Clinton was assassinated. But
Bill.
I
Just so you
just
guys
wanted
know,
to add
the
one
PR
thing.
officially endorses the murder of either Clinton.
Okay. I
That's
do
an
not
official PR
endorse this.
statement.
I do not either.
Explosive Watermelon, famous for making the horrendously overpowered Tonga, has just announced that he is making a Sardinia civ.
Oh, great! I can't wait. Sardinia
I just
PF1
want
I really like
feel-
as a civ already, actually, but I would love to see a dedicated Sardinia as well. Is that like
I just want-
Iraq? Oh no, we already got an Iragians. Have we got an Iragians? I think we got an Iragians.
Yeah, we have Naragians.
Andy wants to speak.
No, J-Man. I just wanted to say something real quick about the Venetians before we get off them. If I'm not mistaken, Chrissy 15, whilst reworking the civilization entirely, to the point where it works outside of the one city strategy, I don't think he changed the biases or the AI of the civilization itself. So the main issue for people who are really big fans of Venice really have to come to terms with the fact that unless there's some sort of miracle, their bias rolls are just going to be incredibly low based on expansion. Because since the civilization's already coded in to say we're only going to have one city and then we just buy city states, the game is going to say, well, Venice it doesn't really want to settle because it's Venice, because that's what its bias roll is on. Its bias is automatically set at a very low variable.
We've seen miracles before, though, so you never know.
Yep.
I would say as well, Haiti's expansion bias is originally was on a 1. We did up it in this game for balance reasons.
Yeah,
although
it's
it
like
helped.
Cloudberg. Didn't you do that for a couple of other civs as well? For Groundhog Day, it was like Wabanaki and stuff.
No, I did increase the expansion bias of the Beothuk, and they still did horrible.
Well, the Beothuk are just turtles, but I mean it's accurate to the sim. Shall we go on to slide number 56?
Yep.
Yeah.
Can I just say about the art? First things first, for the civ ball for Nenets. It's like someone had just said, you know what? From now on, the Nenets are just going to be Finland. Because it reminds me a lot of that Finnish
It
civ
It's
ball.
definitely
does,
it's definitely Urho, right?
56,
Yeah.
which is the Nenets.
I think it's the reindeer because Urho civ balls had I think they had
I
reindeer
think it's
antlers.
He had a knife as well, and the
it's the
glasses.
glasses.
from
It's the glasses. Tekken didn't have
Basically
glasses.
everything.
It's basically Urho leading the Nenets, and I'm fine with that headcanon. I
Yep.
just wish they would act like Finland. I just hope they act like Finland because I really don't think they're going to.
Which
have some of the
Nenets
worst-
is it? Is it Senshi or Gedemo?
Nope, it's Gedemo Nenets. It's Senshi
Ooh.
Evenks, Gedemo Nenets.
Ooh,
Confusing. They both have one of each civ. I think
they do.
that's the way around it is.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
I-
Gedemo's Nenets are the one that's allergic
Lunar,
to
switch
founding
the
city.
slide.
I did.
I like Gedemo's Nenets. I campaigned for them to get in. It's a mod I like. I like the uniques. What I don't like about the Nenets, and this is kind of no one's fault really, is where they start. The Nenets start up in the snow, and we did balance the region a bit to give them a little more tundra around where they start. But if you're going for geographic accuracy, there's no way around this. The Nenets live in the Arctic Circle. So it's a real food sucking start. They're going to start with very low population cities. Their second big problem.
And they don't
is-
have the Inuit bonus.
Or the UP, even UP have an insane bonus for food.
The second major problem of the Nenets is they have one major border early on, and that's the Kazakhs.
Ooh, yeah.
And if you've read the power rankings, you'll
Excellent
realize
chat.
our feeling on the Kazakhs.
I think
Well,
the third,
no, not
the third
not
major
all,
problem though with
not
the
all.
Nenet, the third major problem with the Nenets though is that again they're really allergic to founding cities. Pretty much, I mean, you can't really blame them. Who would want to found cities in that tundra, aside from literally every other deity AI? But they just don't really found enough cities to be viable against the Kazakhs, who found way more cities. Like they found all the cities basically.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Kazakhs are very
and
expensive.
I guess the other thing is with Nenets is that they'll get a couple of fans, like 'cause they've got some cool uniques. If there's like one reindeer sled that survives in like the new Roman Legion, that'll be quite a good meme. But that's about it.
The last pike.
I don't know.
I did want to say the reason why I think a lot of us rank the Nenets higher than, say, Manoa, the Isle of Man, Venice, Prussia, Haiti, is probably because we noticed during the test, despite how god-awful they are, like, they settle 3 cities, and it's not totally their fault. It's mostly their start's fault. We have noticed that for some reason, they never die. They're always around.
It's because like they're out of the way.
Well, their only real neighbor is the Kazakhs, and the Kazakhs are not very aggressive.
Relatively. The Nenets are kind of, I think, the first civ in the power rankings where the deviation starts to get a bit wacky. The highest someone ranked Nenets was 29. Does that person want to own up to it and defend it? I won't.
I don't know. I don't know who it was.
I know who it was.
That was me. That was me.
It was Scissor. Scissor, do you want to defend? Do you want to defend your 29th rank?
It's partly because I don't believe in the Kazakhs.
I mean, we'll get to this, I guess.
So I do believe that the Kazakhs won't be the universal crushing civs that everyone seems to think them as. And instead, I think of them as I think the Kazakhs are a power that are just contained and just don't really do much out of that. And the Nenets will just take advantage of that. And they won't beat the Kazakhs, but they will be around, and they're not a civ that is strong, but they're not super weak, and they're just sitting there.
Like
That's nice, but I just don't see how you can look at any of the results of the test and go, yes, the Nenets should be ranked higher than the Kazakhs.
The Nenets are hang on, he didn't rank Nenets higher than the Kazakhs.
Wait, he said he put Nenets 29th.
The Kazakhs
at 15.
Oh, okay, good.
15.
You used to have them at 30.
He did that. He did.
We'll get onto this later. We can bash Scissor later.
I will defend Scissor on one point here actually, and say that if the Kazakhs, assuming the Kazakhs do either underperform or at least get sidetracked elsewhere, say they go settle south a lot, get involved in loads of wars with Parthia, India, Nepal, that actually gives the Nenets a lot of space and quite a bit of time to settle it before probably the Sami or the Kamugs or the events.
The other one is that Golden Horde. Yeah, if Golden Horde were like still shit, then Nenets could go down and probably even kill Muscovy or something.
Well, Golden Horde are really one of the dark horses of this competition, but we'll get onto that. Shall we move on?
Okay, right. I want to talk about the.
To the U-pick.
So yeah, it's the U-pick. I am the owner of the fan sub for the U-pick, and I have neglected it, but that's not the point.
What's the name
I
of the
love
sub?
this civ. Hide and U-pick. Yeah, but I love this civ. I don't think they're going to do too well, partly because there's no AI. I don't think there's an AI that fixes the warrior founding cities. I still don't think they do that much.
They definitely do. And
do they do it now?
Yeah.
Well, then they probably should be up a bit then.
But even though they can do that, they still do terribly. They once lost their capital to Haida and turned 40.
Yeah, that was a dog timeline.
Yeah.
That was the quickest capital capture of any of the tests.
There's
only been one capital capture that early in Groundhog Day, and that's a game where all the civs start 4 tiles from each other.
Yeah, it was ludicrous. The U-pick, by the way, just in case, just to clarify, they get a +1 faith, +1 food bonus on snow tiles, no bonus on ton.
No, and the other issue is that they start on coast, don't they? So it's even worse because they're right on the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they don't even have that many snow tiles to work with.
Well, this is their exciting UU actually. You bring this up. Now this is an exciting UU. It's called the Alutik Hunter. It replaces the Settler. It can embark and found cities. Cities
they do
also get a unique luxury. It's a brilliant UU, and they actually, because it replaces the Settler, they start with it, and it can embark. So they could go found a city in Kamchatka.
They've done that as well. You replace the warrior. It's a warrior.
It's a warrior replacement. I'm sorry. They just never use it. They never settle with it, which is a real shame, actually. I don't know if
I saw them settle with it actually in my old Arctic AI death.
That's almost sadder because it means that it's possible, but they just choose not to do it.
Be unlikely.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is that I want them to, because we're using HR for this and they're a faith civ. If they get their religion, Anglican Gurnik has an awesome icon. And it's a great.
What's the icon for that?
Two things.
It's like this weird smiley face thing. It's the Inuit one. They found the
It's
same religion.
really kooky. It's good. You should check it out. The highest ranking of UPick, without looking at the spreadsheet, guys. What do you think the highest ranking of UPick from any of the?
46th.
It's 19.
Who did that?
And why?
I'm not grasping rankings, but someone put them 19. Somebody else put them 20 as well. So their deviation, the standard deviation is quite high.
Damn.
Yeah, I think the other thing about UPick is that they can cross the Bering Strait like really early. Even if they do, Qing just get up there really fast, and kill them.
Usually, Qing or Korea.
Usually,
Mhm.
yeah.
But there's been
the
tests
thing-
where their last city has been actually in Alaska because all their Asian cities have been captured by the Qing.
The one thing I will say is there is a very, very famously bad AI who starts in a similar region to where the Yupik start on a world map, and that is the Inuits. Now, the Inuit in most AI games are useless, and we saw what they did in CBR. They completely conquered all of North America. So I guess there is still a chance, however slim, that despite their kind of dodgy AI, the Yupik could.
On the other hand, Lax, the only civ I have ever seen the UPick kill was in my winter game, and that was the Cree, who are also shit.
The Kree are better than the
The
Inuit.
Kree are pretty good.
The Kree are good.
Look at the Kree.
Good.
Really?
So I found
Yeah, I like the Kree.
out
I'm thinking
with
the Dene.
Inuit.
The Dene are useless.
The Cree killed the Dene as well, though. But
I think the Kree are decent. I like Kree. Kree's one of my
I
favorite
just wanted to
CSs.
say one thing to disagree with you, Lax, to kind of enforce this whole bottom 10 ranking of UPeak is that unlike the Inuit, who did have access to a lot of tundra, to a lot of snow tiles that they were able to work with their own UA, their unique ability, UPeak has the issue of being settled right dead inside of Alaska. And if anybody has seen the map and has looked at Alaska, they'll notice it is absolutely swamped with mountains. And if you really want to get through those mountains, good luck, because there's only one path out of Alaska, and it's a one-tile path. And that's such a hard choke point for any AI to get through.
Yeah, agreed.
yeah, Tim has also made the point that T-Pang did rebalance the civs for Mark II.
We don't know how true that is, or to what extent it was done. But even the civs have been rebalanced for CBRX as well, so it's not. That's not.
I mean, you peak
it's
do,
not-
as I said, I have it on the slide though. Your peak leader screen is glorious.
Yeah, it is beautiful. The other thing I'll say against the UPick is that in relation to the mountain pass, if they want to break out without going through the mountain pass, they need a strong navy. And however strong the navy is, it will never be stronger than Hyders. The Hyder are a naval powerhouse every game. They're like a Pacific Buccaneers, seriously, especially in the early game.
Seriously.
There was one test, I believe, where UPeak somehow did kill Hyder, but I think that was just like a 1 in a million.
There was
It
a
can-
Usually it was the
settled
other way
Baja,
around.
California.
It's a 1 in 10. It's a 1 in 10 chance. It can happen, and that's why they're not bottom.
So
Should we go
Korea,
to
Let's talk about
54. 54 is Korea.
Korea.
54.
Are we making a huge mistake by ranking Korea in the bottom 10 again? You guys-
Personally, I think we are actually. I think
In
they're gonna
recent
do-
tests-
I think
in
they're
recent
gonna finish
tests, they've
in the
been beating
top
the
half,
Qing.
honestly.
The first question then is Seonjo's Korea better than or worse than Vanilla Korea?
yes,
Yes.
You can't
Absolutely.
say yes to better than or worse than.
it
It's-
is worse.
Yes, they are
It's-
better
They're
or
worse. Yeah.
They are. They
As
are
the one who
worse.
picked out the picture for that power ranking slide, I definitely say that they're worse. Mark II's Korea had the advantage of science, so they were able to be techs ahead of their neighbors for a good portion of the game, and that honestly helped them out quite a bit with defending their land. Seonjo doesn't really have that ability. They just have fleets. Their problems, however, can come from both the land and the sea.
Yeah, their UA triggers when they get war declared on them, so they looks like they're not an aggressive civ at all.
And there was one test game where Tonga took Korea's capital. I can't forget that one.
Was it really their capital? I thought it was just a major Korean city.
It was their capital.
We leaked the one
Pretty sure it
with
was
the
the
major
capital, yeah.
Korean city, but they ended up losing their capital after. I think subsequently after the game crashed. I might be thinking of a different one though.
Korea can do well. We've seen tests where they've beaten Qing. We've seen tests where they've expanded a lot. But we've also seen tests where they've been beaten early. I will say, because he did admit it, pretty much in the slide, you can garner as much evidence. Homasubi has these guys in the top 20, so there is still confidence for Korea out there in the power rank.
Yeah, but
I don't
that's
think it's
also because
entirely undeserved. I think a lot of the later tests, especially Korea, did surprisingly well, especially when they when Shikoku did horribly. If Shikoku does badly, it helps.
And Qing. Well, I mean, we're going to talk about Qing later, so I don't want to talk too much about it. But Qing are a real wild card, and that can obviously massively affect Korea. I will say, when your chances rely so heavily on two other civs fucking up, that's kind of one of the reasons why you have to be ranked in the lower half, maybe. I guess you could say that's actually kind of how Vanilla Korea in Mark II got their break, because Mao's China just blew up in their faces, and Mongolia didn't do anything. So
yeah, I think the thing is though, Shikoku
Same with Yakusho.
aren't that great. Shikoku have been fairly like consistent and not doing too well. It just depends if Qing don't go straight forward. If Qing like go south or north or west, then Korea can get big. They can take like where Yakusho are a bit.
I will say, the more I think about it, the more I think it's criminal that we have Korea below Shikoku. I don't really get any justification for that.
Shikoku's not even bottom 10. What?
I totally think in this case, there's a musical going on in the Asian theater, and Shikoku is singing anything you can do, I can do better. Because holy hell, it is very eerie how much Shikoku walks in the footpath of old Korea. I don't even remember, so I can't even leak this. I'm just really interested to see how they turn out. So Korea's fate is in the hands of their neighbors.
Yeah.
How apt.
I think that's a good place to leave it with Korea. I don't think I've got much more to say.
There's one more thing. On the slide, it says that Victorian Creatures created this. The actual creator of the Civ Ball is Little Lion Boy 1.
Yeah, Little Lion Boy did a lot of these Civ balls, and they're all really rad. They're actually some of my favorite ones going through here. So
but
when I made this, I accidentally put the wrong name in. As I was making these 61 slides, I know there's a couple Poland balls that I did have the wrong author for. So sorry to those. Sorry to the authors. I mean, the artists.
It'll be fixed for part 1. We promise.
Yeah.
All scissors fired.
Boo.
What time is it?
Guys, I think it's Tonga time.
Is it? Are you sure?
Is it Tonga time already?
I think it's Tonga.
7:38 is now officially Tonga time. This is now canon. Write this in your OC books, everybody.
All right.
I've given.
Does anyone mind if I
lot.
link to the stream on Reddit? Just
No, that we'll put it up there.
Please do it. Please. I
please
want more
do.
publicity.
Luna needs those sweet monies.
Do you
I
mean
really like being
Reddit/r/Tonga?
No, r/Civ Battle Royale.
Don't leak it to Reddit/r/Tonga. They won't.
no, I wouldn't do that.
They won't.
Also, I've risen my volume, so.
So yeah, I have given EW a lot of shit for this mod because when it came out, I was annoyed how it was obviously biased for AI games. He has since said he doesn't like the design and things are all better now. There's still they have a chance to be actually fun and entertaining Civ though, so I can't really complain.
Yeah, I can't blame him for doing that. I think it was a good decision because it didn't a Civ that starts in where Tonga is never going to win. It doesn't matter how borderline OP he makes them, but by giving them these interesting abilities, he's made them more of a wild card than they would otherwise have been. And in tests, we've seen them randomly snipe capitals halfway across the world. It's clearly working.
Let's just quickly go over those uniques, guys, because we're talking about them quite a lot. So it's naval melee units deal 50% damage more to cities, and that's 15 experience for units training coastal cities, which for Tonga is
So
going to be
yeah,
all
they
of them.
get a free promotion for basically every unit.
Their UU is actually not a ship, though. It is a rifleman that gets free amphibious and free medic. I think an interesting thing a lot of people don't know about this mod, actually, is it is based on modern Tonga. It is not based on the Tui Tonga Empire, aka the Bill Wirtz one. That's actually wrong. It's not that Tonga. It's the modern country of Tonga, which is why if it does found a religion, which is unlikely, it will found Protestantism, I believe.
Neat.
Not
Gotta get
the
that
Polynesian, not the Polynesian religion.
Christian Polynesia, boys.
Under
Oh,
Great
boy.
King Saucy the First.
Saucy.
No one.
Saucy.
Wouldn't modern
that's
Tonga
boys.
be Mormonism now?
Melon, if you're still in the chat, can you come get a pronunciation?
Yeah, there's genuinely a Disney film about Mormonism in Tonga.
What?
It's not. It's like
animated?
no. It's live action. It's like 78 or something. How?
Can I just mention something about the mod overall? And it is something that I've come to learn as I've been looking at balancing mods and just thinking about how it impacts the game overall. When it comes to Tonga, also, everyone's quiet. Speak up.
Would you like me to start talking?
Yes,
Hey.
what?
Yo,
Thank you. Okay, I was just checking. I realized everything went dead. And anyways, the design of this mod has to be one of the most dynamic and exciting mods, despite being as basic as it is. For an AI game, and which it almost felt like it was balanced and tuned for, it did a really good job. What that could mean for the actual game is, this deviation is too low. I've seen games where they haven't settled a city. I've seen a game where they've sniped capitals in just everywhere. Just pick a capital, just any
Wait,
one.
when you say haven't settled a city, do you mean like not a second city,
No,
or
they'll settle the
Not
capital.
a
They'll settle-
second.
The
Any
game-
game
the game wouldn't go
where
forward
a
after
civ did not
Passover.
settle a second city were scrapped.
Yeah.
Mm.
So we had 2 games where Civ has not settled a city. One that you're looking at, and one that makes no sense. And both of those were scrapped, unless my memory is off. I might have to ask Rion about that.
So just me and Scissor and me both found it in the chat. The Other Side of Heaven is a 2001 American adventure drama film based on John H. Grobeck's tale about being a Mormon missionary in Tonga, starring Anne Hathaway.
Huh.
Why was that made?
Because
listen, this was needed. This was required.
No,
This was in 2001. This was before she was famous.
someone.
From the award-winning producer of Schindler's List and Jurassic Park.
No. Oh, what?
Yes.
It's Tonga time.
What kind of ratings
Yeah.
did this movie get?
Good.
Budget of 7 million, box office 4.8 million. Luna, get up on stream. It's in the
novel.
Discord.
There's a comment on this on the slide from Homasubi, which says the CBRX tomb pilgrimage just got a lot harder. CLC has a marked grave. Yep, it's in Tonga. Should
Okay,
explain
so
for
yeah.
anyone who's not on the Power Ranking Discord, which is
Most
who's
people.
not in this voice channel. Homasubi's decided he's going to try and visit the grave of every single CBRX leader.
I started it by
Okay,
taking a
that is
photo.
rad.
I took a
has a
photo
marked
of
grave.
me in Casimir's tomb before the start of voting, and then I posted that here, and I took another one in front of Elizabeth's tomb in Westminster Abbey, and the conversation started from.
I have a similar goal, which is to visit the grave of every single CBRX Power Rank.
Yeah, given that I'm moving in with you, Lax, I'm going to be very scared when I move in.
Fine.
I personally think that Homosubi's attempt to visit the grave of every CBRX leader is responsible for the recent death of Bob.
Oh no.
Of Bob.
Oh dear.
Oh God.
Homosubi, no.
Oops, I slipped.
Someone actually assassinated him.
No. Homosubi did Hawk 2019.
Oh no.
So far we have Sam Knights killed Clinton and Homasubi killed Hawk. Got it.
All right, no.
All right. Any last words of Tonga?
No, let's talk about
No.
Robert the Bruce.
No longer Tonga time.
Drop
Tonga
it,
time
that
is over.
Bruce.
I want to start.
Welcome to Scotland and Robert the Bruce.
Lordy discuss it. Lordy, your take on Scotland, please.
So Scotland are a good civ. They're not as good as my Scotland, but they're still a good civ.
Which is your Scotland?
It's not released yet.
So how is it not as good?
Because mine has good domination uniques and doesn't spend its whole time building one city in the fucking Highlands and dying.
Yeah, but this one's out. This one's actually released. We can play with this one. So
this is Robert the Bruce. He's an okay lead. He's like a B tier Scottish reader. James the Sixth is like S tier. So is like Alexander and Constantine II, and then like William Wallace is like F tier, like so far down. But it's like an okay Scotland. It's better than James the Sixth, which is always
Robert de Bruce in a B tier for Scottish leaders, the dude who literally liberated Scotland.
I mean, to be fair, that was more because Edward the First was a fucking genius, rather than because like Robert was and Edward the Second was terrible.
So moving to CBRX, Scotland are ranked above Korea. Anyone want to defend that?
No.
Scotland might kill us.
Does
Scotland
the man
not
settle
only kills
Ireland?
Civ,
Does
but-
the Moors fall asleep?
To be fair,
Who is G-Man? All of these in
Scotland has more land to
On the next
settle.
exciting episode.
It has Iceland available. It has Greenland. It has the Faroe Islands.
Which they don't
It could settle more of the
Yeah,
isles.
they don't settle any of those places.
Explaining Scotland's low ranking. Yeah, all I could say is, if I think too much, it hurts the inner ranker.
Oh, there it is. I would say
Scissor, don't think fingers.
looking at the ranking spread, what I'm noticing is that Korea was like people having it in like 60, 58, 57, and then 20 and like 21. And then you look at Scotland and it's all about 50. Like I think the ranking goes from I think 40 to 58, but the mode is definitely around like 50 and like
Someone has him at 36.
Scotland are just like Ireland, basically. They might do well. They'll probably kill the other civ in the British Isles, and they'll get destroyed by some Scandinavian pricks.
Yeah, honestly.
Or by the Moors.
Are you saying the city Khanate isn't going to happen?
I'm dying. You killed me.
Guys, there's a sequel to the Mormon Tonga. It's not out yet.
When does it come out?
It was
go after watch
2 months ago, but it didn't come out.
Oh no!
Oh no! It wasn't Tonga.
What's it called?
No, they just delayed it. It wasn't Tonga.
It was not Tonga time.
Couldn't even get it to release at 6:36. It wasn't Tonga time.
I'm just looking at the chat for the first time in fucking forever. Important question: will there be audio narrations? Luna.
Dawkins will be doing his audio.
Dawkins will be reprising his role. There was a bit of a scare just brought by me not knowing what's happening. I have gotten confirmation from the man himself. He will be reprising his role. I might be investing in a setup to provide supplementary roles, but this is entirely his project and kind of his gang with the whole video production side of things. Mm-hmm. It's going to be very Mark 2.1 starting out, but we do hope to introduce a whole bunch of the video stuff and bringing in a little bit of video editing when I actually learn how to Premiere. But
yeah, so
it is going to be very Mark 2.1.
We'll have Dawkins. So 2 things from chat. First of all, Aaron says that Scotland wants to conquer the Vikings. This is, I think, I haven't seen this test, but I heard about it.
I vaguely remember.
Second thing is that the Mormon film comes out in 12 days. So yeah, let's go and see the Mormon film.
2 dates? No, let's say
12 days, 28.
Well, we need to watch the first one first.
Wait,
PR movie night, boys.
We have a group watch for this, guys. Do this.
The next podcast episode will not actually be analysis of part 1. It will just be us watching the Mormon film.
It'll be a cinema and then a film.
It's a reaction.
Reaction video.
Yeah.
I think the amount of off-topic we've got says a lot about how interesting Scotland are in CBRX.
Yeah.
Should we go to
Scotland will live.
Yeah, let's move on.
Scotland
We
might
kept
die.
that Tonga
No,
tab.
guys, can I just say, for Tonga from now on, every single image has to be a scene from the other side of heaven.
Yes,
It'll
please.
either be that
This will be done, my
or a
lord.
Bill Wirtz reference.
Confirmed.
I will say my grandfather on my mother's side of the family, he was from Hartlepool, which is just a bit south from Sunderland, which is close enough to Scotland. So
it's nearer to York. It's
freedom.
nearer to me. Hartlepool.
Lord, J-Man, I'm literally in Scotland.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so freedom.
You may take our PR places. You may take our unique units, but you will never take our freedom.
Speaking of freedom, actually, this has nothing to do with freedom. We have Algeria.
Abdelkader.
I don't want to make out like Algeria's
Alhamdulillah, Elmir Abdel Kadir.
Yeah. Okay. The Algeria civil is fucking awesome.
I came in here with a PR comment apparently saying Algeria definitely bottom of the region, and I'm not sure I stand by that now because I'm having second thoughts about a couple of the civs down there.
Nubia, shit.
Yes, Algeria are certainly not the most interesting civ in Africa.
Oof.
I mean, I think our expectations for Algeria are probably the lowest of any like mainland civ start at the start of the game. Like when they were voted in, everyone said, "Oh my god, Algeria are shit."
There were no great civs in their voting region. It was just a really weirdly empty voting region, especially given that it was in the same voting region as Morocco. You'd think there would be more interesting Moroccan civs. Yeah, but you think there would be like a.
The only one I think is the only one is Pork Beans Riff. But they weren't released, I don't think.
They weren't released.
The other one is Firebug's Almohads, but they're like not that great.
And then there was the Guanches who start on the Canary Islands, which would have definitely have fared less well.
Was Sennar in their region, or was Sennar in the Songhai region?
Sennar is in Ethiopia. Sennar is in Sudan.
Not Sennar then. The one that starts in Dakar.
I know the one you mean.
They were in a different region.
They were in the Songhai region.
What are they bleeding called? It's not actually Dakar, but it is Senegal. Is it the Jollof? Is it the Wolof?
Well, that's the language. It starts with S.
It starts with S.
Sarah, someone said it. Sarah
is right. They were in Songhai.
Who's Sarah?
I wanted them. I liked them.
Hey, I'm Sarah.
We can't always have nice things.
Yeah. I don't think Algeria are as bad as you made them out to be. They're a really good defensive civ, but that's not going to win you AI games.
I mean, next to Libya, I mean, they might put up a good fight against Libya, and in recent tests they have shown like that they can and will take Libya's cities, but that's more of like a lucky dice roll than anything.
If they get the chance to build some of their unique improvements, that could be exciting because they have a unique, great general.
Yeah, the citadel.
They make citadels. They make cassars.
I've never seen the AI actually build those unique citadels.
Well, that's very sad because you can build them outside. They can build them outside of friendly territory, and they inflict even more damage than citadels. So like they're really fucking great improvements to have. So if they don't build them, that's their fault.
The other one is the funny thing I find about Algeria is that for a while YNAEMP was broken, and on Giant Earth, Algeria would spawn the Caucasus.
In the Caucasus?
Yeah.
Maybe we should have had them instead of Golden Horde.
I mean, to be fair, Golden Horde are good.
Golden Horde are good because
they are now
built from the ground up by Limerick Arch.
Yeah.
Algeria is in my opinion one of the most competent civs with one of the most interesting set of uniques, completely held back by absolutely garbage tiles limiting their AI to ever expand ever, thus making them the least deserving, most uninteresting civ in most of the old world. I almost have nothing else to say other than, oh my god, I want to play as them.
Their UA does sound like a bit like a demonym for Aladdin, Saint Among the Princes, or something like that.
I'm pretty sure Aladdin is from like the Arabian Peninsula. Where is Aladdin set? Does anyone know where Aladdin is?
Aladdin was originally Chinese. The story is Chinese.
Where's the Arabian Nights Aladdin set?
Arabia. Agrabah, which
I would assume so.
Agrabah
The
was
Arabian
made
Nights Aladdin was actually set in northern Canada.
Aladdin.
King reaches over. Join me, my
most
child.
stories that you get in relation to Arabian Nights, in relation to Aladdin-esque stories, are actually set in North Africa, around where Tunisia, Algeria, and Libya are. Sometimes Morocco, but mostly around.
I thought
Algeria.
Sinbad was like Muscat.
So yeah, Sinbad is Oman.
So,
I thought Sinbad was
but basically, what J-Man just confirmed is that canon Abdelkader is actually Aladdin.
I guess now.
So what you're saying is we need to remake the Civ ball to be Aladdin on a flying carpet.
A whole new
Yeah.
world.
We need to just impose the Will Smith genie head on top of the.
Oh God, please no, never. Don't even joke about this. Please don't joke about this ever again.
No, the new trailer looks good. It was just the first one that was really bad.
All right.
Someone's gonna make it.
I think we're moving on. Anything else?
When you are
No.
scissors, when you are putting together the Algeria slide, you have one job, and that job is in the background behind the Algeria Civ ball is just have a picture of Will Smith genie's face, faded, very transparent, but just visible enough that if you just look hard, you'll see Will Smith's face.
Okay,
my God.
I'll take that into consideration.
Alright guys, it's time for everyone's favourite civ with no actual leader, the HRE. And I'd like to just say, for the HRE, which civs are active in the game that the HRE can choose that are not vanilla civs? Because I believe you left some LS civs in there.
So how it works is any of the Last Sword civs, and okay, I'll start again. The Last Sword civs are civs made by Last Sword that come out in packs rather than being released individually. We voted in a lot of Last Sword civs into this game, probably because there weren't that many. He makes loads of great civs, and there weren't that many in the original CBR Mark II. So any of the civs in those packs will be active and will be able to be selected by the Holy Roman Emperor. I can't remember many of them. I do remember Leonidas is one of them.
So Vikings come with Hungary, which are a good civ, and I think it's Ferdinand I Hungary, and Israel under Solomon, who are shit.
The leader, I don't think the leader doesn't make a difference. I think the values are set in stone. The leader I stand.
Yeah, it just they get that. Don't they get no right? Yeah, the leader. It's essentially just aesthetic. It's basically a gimmick. The AI values don't change.
The AI values don't change. The uniques change, which is what's interesting. They don't change to that civ. They have like the different.
They have like a choice of 3 from the era or something, don't they?
They can also elect the Doge, and I don't mean the Venetian one.
The dog, the meme dog.
I mean the meme dog, the dog. He's in there. It's unlikely.
Why?
Nope, is an option.
It was an
Why?
Easter egg. It was just an Easter egg.
I don't know.
But yeah, so HRE haven't been that bad. Like the issue is that Czechia are just like by far the best civ in the region.
Yeah, and they're the immediate neighbours, so they're probably going to get into some early wars. Czechia do have a stronger AI. They have more room to expand. But I'm not going to rule out HRE. In Mark II, the best civ in the European region was Poland, and they totally flopped. So if Czech Republic have a bad game, then HRE have a hell of a lot of room to do something special with. They could really move into Eastern Europe, but they also have all of France to expand into.
I actually
Build
pulled
a
up a
more
list in the
into
code.
France.
If you guys want to know, I can run through it super quick.
Sure.
You can sure go.
We got Athens, Prussia, Koya, Ukraine, Khmer. I don't know how to pronounce a lot of these, so pardon my brutalness. Papal states.
Papal.
Papal. Oh yeah. The
As opposed to Rion's land, which are the PayPal states.
the PayPal. I don't know how to pronounce them. They were in Mark II.
Spell it.
SIOUX. They were in Mark II.
The Sioux.
The Sioux. Oh my god. I think I remember. Kingdom of Jerusalem, Mali, Timurids.
Baldwin oh my god.
Mali.
Kingdom of Jerusalem's leader screen is terrifying.
Yeah,
Nepal,
Manson.
Durrani, Ashanti, Kin, Tahiti, Gallia, Scotland, Zimbabwe, Olmec, Lithuania, Tartar, Bulgaria, Hittite, Numidia, Cherokee, Romania, Scythia, Tibet, Sparta, Mughal, Vietnam, Israel, Viking, Hungary, Genoa, Minoan, Caribbean, Flanders, Goth, Swiss, Swiss? What?
Just
Swiss?
just to confirm as well,
huge list.
that Caribbean leader is Henry.
Oh,
Wait,
okay.
so it could be Henry Morgan.
No, yeah, Caribbean,
So we
Flanders,
could just
Goth,
get
Swiss,
we could
French,
get Sitting
Simmer.
Bull Jesus. So we can get Sitting Bull Jesus. We can get Henry Morgan, the Pirate Lord. We can get the literal Man in the Iron Mask Crusader. We can get the Doge. This is an amazing.
We can get Leonidas of Sparta. There's loads of options.
You guys
It's going to be a
are
really fun civ.
running.
We can get
Google
Augustus.
and IIT. I have no idea what that
really
is.
hope that the HRE live now. Just so we can see.
You guys
it
are
more.
forgetting about one.
Yeah, Ndongo. Ayubids, Nubia,
Oh my god, it goes on.
Tio, France, many Japans, Jimu, Kamu, Meiji, Shotoku, Takauji, Tokugawa, Ivan, Peter.
You actually included Last Sword civs that wouldn't have been active anyway. In which
Yep,
case,
no,
those are from Homosubi's pack, aren't they?
Yeah, the
No,
Japan.
So,
oh,
might
can
be.
they pull from? Can they pull
no,
from?
it says
Homosubi's pack?
LS.
yeah.
It says Japan,
Okay,
LS,
it's Last
Kanmu.
Sword then. It's Last Sword. It's Last
Yep.
Sword.
Yeah.
Well, then
All of
why are
them
they
are
include
back,
them-
so
Wait,
all
Wait,
of
so
them,
you included all? Did you include all the France ones as well?
I believe so.
So you
Wait,
can
no,
have,
no France.
The
No
TLDR
France.
is HRE can get a lot of random leaders. They can also get the vanilla ones, it should be
Yep.
said.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't, fingers crossed, if I remember correctly, they shouldn't pick up any leader names that are active. So you won't see HRE under Václav Havel fighting the Czech Republic under Václav
Yeah.
Havel.
They don't do that.
No, I want to see
Can I
that.
just-
That'd be
Last
beautiful. What are you
Bull.
talking about?
Can I say Last Sword is just an absolute lure genius?
Yeah, he's a
Last
beast
Sword
at
is
modern.
my senpai, and when he came on, it felt bad. I felt so upset for him. He is a genius. He just produces mods so quickly, and a lot of people love absolute historical accuracy. But his Lua, you couldn't put that on a pizza, and I wouldn't pay any price.
He makes mods to play as, not mods to be like. They're not always the most accurate, and he's even removed mods in the past because they've strayed too far on the level of being almost offensive.
Yeah.
Inaccurate they are.
The famous one was his Australia. Yeah.
His Aboriginal Australia, which is such a good mod. They come with custom natural wonders that only Australians can see. Anyway,
His Lua, 1,300 lines.
He's a god of coding. We bow down.
All right.
Yeah,
Anyways,
my favorite single gimmick that just one last one. My favorite gimmick is Tatars, which is the most annoying but the most beautiful gimmick I've ever seen.
Oh god, another one you mean?
Their units in neutral territory claim tiles that they step on temporarily. It's just incredible.
The mini map looks horrible.
Oh god, it's that.
Just to put something in perspective to all you viewers and all you rankers, is that if the HRE decides to pick Tahiti, Purea as the leader of the HRE, we could literally have HRE in California for funsies. Also, go Morocco.
Oh yeah, do
please
they get the do they take the UA?
No, they don't take the UA.
No, it's just aesthetic. They take different uniques, but those different uniques are variable, but they are specific to the HRE. It's things like the Landsnecht and other like HRE specific uniques.
Oh no, that's how it goes for the unique units. The unique units are sometimes pulled from unique units from other civs, so you could actually get immortals if you were to choose Darius. But the leader you pick also changes the unique ability. The thing it doesn't change is the AI. It doesn't change the biases.
I'm pretty sure we looked into this, had someone play as them, and you don't get the uniques of the leader.
I think you might get the unit if it's the right era, but I'm not
You get
sure.
to pick from a list of different abilities.
So it's kind of like Zia then, except it doesn't stand.
Sure.
Oh geez,
Same
what
thing.
is that?
Oh god, words. I don't like them.
The important thing, guys, is that We won't have a clue what's going on when we're watching it anyway.
They'll be entertaining, and that's a good thing.
Until they come out, so it'll be fun to see what they do.
HRE coming out.
It's probably
So I think we spent a bit too much time on HRE. We should probably be moving on to Madagascar.
Yeah.
Madagascar with the name.
Madagascar.
Name that sounds
Just doing a
most like
quick
song.
scroll.
I am agog. These guys are so low. I'm just going to start there. I think Madagascar have, of all the island civs, they often settle on the mainland, and they have a lot of free land to do so when they choose to. Ndongo, right the other side of Africa. Zimbabwe, right down at the bottom, tends to settle south. Beta Israel, not the most expansive civ. So Madagascar, for me, mid-tier at least. I think they're ranked way too low, personally.
I will have to.
Wait,
agree,
HRE
yet
starts
also
in Aachen,
disagree.
right?
Aachen.
Yes.
Just because Madagascar, on the sad point, is that their unique district is kind of bugged, kind of not, and it doesn't really get used as often as it should. But at the same time...
Did you say unique district?
That's a Civ 6 thing.
It's a unique. It's an improvement.
Sorry,
It's an improvement.
Yeah, sorry. I've been playing Civ 6 lately.
Boo, fake power ranker.
Civ 6 is great.
It's fun to play and chill. I
think Civ
prefer
6 is more
mod, but yeah.
I think Civ 6 is more fun to play than Civ 5, personally.
Yeah, arguable to be honest, but yeah.
Different strokes for different folks.
But definitely worse for AI games.
I have fun with it, especially if my friends actually want to play it with me. But anyways, that aside, I will agree with you, Lax. Madagascar definitely has the best island start of all the island civs, hands down. There are no island civs in the whole Royale, except for possibly Haida, who have a better island start.
Okay, but Madagascar's island is huge. So
ish.
I
think Madagascar can usually get about 4 cities on their home island.
It's not bad.
Something like that.
I've seen 4. I've seen 5. It sometimes depends on what they do. I've actually done some test games where they settle on the coast, like truly settle on the coast, and they do significantly better. But I've had a lot of really weird games, especially recently going up towards the release, where they just absolutely went God mode. I don't know what happened. It's like we're fixing bugs, and every time you fix a bug, they get 5% stronger. I'm really hyped for Madagascar, not gonna lie.
They just respect the game working. They weren't willing to take part when they saw the game was still so it was beneath them when it was so bad.
Rana Valona is not only like a Madagascan racist, she's like coding racist.
Guys, there are a few people in the chat posting about Haida and saying Haida #1. I want to retract my previous statement about Madagascar being the best island civ. Haida are the best island civ, Madagascar second.
Agreed.
Technically, the Americas are an island, so I'm going to take Uruguay as the best island civ.
Not New Zealand. Shake my head.
SMH my head.
Yeah. Madagascar's chances of success are entirely based on their scouting, their settling patterns, and their ability to defend against Zimbabwe. They have a really good capital in the terms of it cannot be assaulted from anything less than future world battleships.
Yeah, it's on a
and
hill.
carriers.
Is it on a hill as well?
It's on a hill too. It needs a 5 range unit, and you can only assault it from 4 angles. I believe there is a future world unit. I don't know. I haven't played the most recent version.
Oh yeah,
5
so
range.
we should clarify that the future worlds in this has some scary shit.
Oh yeah, future worlds is when the
March.
game ends. That's all I could say. It's not. It's like when it happens, he who is in the lead is in the lead.
Well, we've seen that bite people on the arse. Not one game ago, so let's not jump to our guns.
Distant
So-
Brazilian music.
We used
We're adding
version
in a
3.
lot more units from Future Worlds this edition than we did previous editions. We have Raptors. We have the don't we have those
Nexus.
motherships or
The
Nexus ships or whatever they're
the
called? Yeah, the
Nexus is
Nexus.
brutal.
We have so many futuristic units.
there is a now non-OP version of the Folus mutagen.
Oh, sweet.
Well, we're talking about something that's probably about 60 parts away, so let's not worry too much about it.
Anyway,
Yeah, I was just going to say we used version 3 for Mark II. We're using version 6. It's like double the size.
Rance says Australia is still the best island civ. Australia, despite
is
what
a
it
continent.
says in the slide that you're looking at right now, Australia is a continent.
So, if
actually,
I recall correctly, so can I ask, if I recall correctly, Madagascar's capital is not on the coast, is it?
No,
It is as
Antananarivo
inland as you can be on Madagascar.
Yep.
Making it heavily defensive.
It's right in the middle of the island.
Yeah. It's so far away that if we spawn in with galleys or galleys triremes, they will delete themselves unless you teleport them to an adjacent tile. For the purposes of calculating distance, that is the one farthest away from the African coast, meaning if they want to see it, they will have to travel around, which thankfully they generally always do. Sometimes they just say, nah, I'm going to India, see you later. That happens, but most of the time they go along the African coast, so you don't generally have to worry about their scouting ability. I made sure that they could have eyesight, and thus they could be as relevant as they can without
I think
stacking the game in there.
The other thing about Madagascar is that they have a pretty good AI. Like, they won a round of Groundhog Day, didn't they, Cloudberg?
They did, and they really did it. They had a carpet of units for almost the entire game. They really like to build their unique pikemen, I think it is.
Yep.
And they'll build dozens of them. They'll just fill all their lands with these, and they won't necessarily use them. But their pikemen upgrades into the infantry line, so it's actually useful after it obsoletes, which gave them a huge carpet of just modern infantry and that sort of thing later, which they use to steamroll everybody.
Oh yeah, just because we brought up the Folus mutagen, basically, because people are talking about it in chat, it was a Future Worlds wonder that was so broken. It was basically permanent Great Wall and citadels on, like, because of the way they built the Future Worlds improvement, citadel on like every single tile in their empire. They've made them impossible to invade. I think the new one has a completely different effect, so it's fine.
Yep.
Yeah, it's changed a lot. It's still useful. I can't remember exactly what it does right now, but we'll have those details.
I don't remember. All I remember is that Lime said he was looking into it and that he quote unquote verified it's good. Whatever that means. Lime is sometimes.
I think what it does now is buffs all your units, but I'm not sure.
That's what Skynet does.
Oh, so it's not Skynet.
Aaron is coming in to say the same thing. The mutagen gives you units new mutant upgrades. I think that is right. Guys, it's a year away. It's literally a year until anyone will build.
That is true. Rion did say we have enough parts for 2 years.
Yep. Jesus. I saw the turn counter of 275, and then he said 909, which is like, oh my god, what the actual. And there was a lot of expletives because I'm like, dude, the game is running. You have no idea how happy I am to see.
I'm so happy that he's made it past turn 900. That's just amazing.
Wait, this means we're gonna have to do this podcast every weekend for the next 2 years.
No, we just do it whenever we feel like, right?
Yeah,
sure.
It's whenever we feel. Honestly, it could honestly just be me and Lax, and we can just man mode the whole thing.
I like the fact that you correctly guessed that I'll be the one here every week.
Yep.
I mean, to be fair, I'm going to be here every week all summer. So
I'll be here whenever I can.
Doing the podcast every week. We're probably not going to do a rundown of every civilization.
Yep, we're just going to be like, what's important? Everyone brings notes. Here's 5 things they want to talk about. Mm-hmm. That's it.
And then we can also we have a lot more freedom to go off on tangents as well.
I think in the future it's going to be...
Yeah, exactly. We can make shit posts.
I think in the future it'll be continent by continent. I think that's a better way of doing it. So we'll talk about the situation in North America, South America.
I'd like to personally thank Techno Staff, meaning South America will have more than one slider.
Hopefully. But we'll get on to that, hopefully.
Just one, even if it's just 2 slides every turn saying Uruguay's not doing much, but it's overpowered. We know this.
Hey guys.
Okay, so we're talking about Oman.
Oh man.
Okay, so first I want to say that this image and its caption are pretty funny because it says you might not like it, but this is peak Oman performance. That screenshot is Oman getting dismantled in a test of my AI Middle East game, which in the actual game Oman won. So it's like it's
Oman,
really not.
In CHG, like their AI was good. Like that's what my comment actually means.
Persia won.
Yeah, Persia. CHG is like a bad example, but the AI was good in CHG. Like they settled a lot of good cities.
Oman are a civ who have divided critics. I think it's safe to say there's many people who think they're useless, and there's many people who think they're excellent. What I will say is, I think they endeared themselves to everyone who was watching the test games by routinely settling cities pretty much anywhere they could get their hands.
Siberia,
Singapore, south tip of India, Sri Lanka. I haven't seen them settle Zanzibar yet. I really hope they do. It's in their city list.
They did own it.
That's not mature. Thank you. I have a lot of faith in Oman to be entertaining at least. Good, a winner, less so. Their only actual border is Palmyra, who are right to the north, who I definitely fancy the chances over Oman. And while settling cities 1 or 2 elsewhere is entertaining, you can't build an empire from far-flung colonies, really. See Sri Lanka.
Well, Oman does quite routinely kind of beat Maratha.
To be fair, Maratha are awful.
That an empire cannot build itself off of colonies. You, madam, are from the United Kingdom.
I mean in CBRX.
Sorry.
In the Civ Battle Royale, I should say.
I mean, Finland did it.
Yeah, Finland.
Finland did, but they had a strong core. They had a real strong core. They didn't just have their colonies. They had a good.
Never forget Exclavia.
For Europe, and then built loads of colonies. Oman, I don't think have room for a strong core. They would have to take out Palmyra, and I just don't think they will.
I just
want to hear the fact that Finland lost 90% of its population in one war.
Yeah.
Also, and it's got to be said, terrible land, Arabian Desert, really bad place to build a city.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
unless
Oman
they get desert pantheon, and they get religion on like 10. That's an exaggeration, but if they get the faith from desert, they can get a religion.
I mean, desert folklore's great for faith,
but
faith
you can get food. I believe you can get the food buildings from religion.
Oh yeah, we made loads of extra pantheons. Yeah, I take it back. Yeah, cool. There are extra pantheons in the game, guys,
and there are extra beliefs. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, will they get? They do have a high religion bias actually.
So there is a. I'm pretty sure there is a food from desert one.
They have their lovely, unique. Is it Ibadi? It's a unique sect of Islam that only Oman celebrate.
I mean, what Scissor said, like Oman won it by 1 vote against Hejaz, and Hejaz probably would have been.
Hejaz probably what? Sorry.
Would have been better, I guess.
I campaigned for Hejaz.
Well, the only game they've both been in was AI Middle East, and Hejaz was not impressive, and Oman won. So I don't know if that says anything.
Yeah, so
it does say that, you know, when everyone has a terrible desert start, Oman can be dominant.
But everyone doesn't have a terrible desert start.
Including Palmyra, their northern neighbor.
They have a good desert.
The Levant is just good.
Okay. I like Oman. I think they could be fun, but I think it's time to move on.
Yep. Now
47.
Haida.
Lax, you can have 5 minutes, Lax, to just tell us why Haida are your number 1 island.
Are they in 47th?
Yep.
That is criminally low. Okay. We've already talked a bit about Haida in the past when we talked about Yupik. They took out the Yupik capital in 1 test run in 40 turns. 40. They are violent. They just get building a navy and they get moving.
But that was the Yupik.
Yupik are their only kind of coastal neighbor. Their nearest neighbor other than that is the Metis and the Apache, who both start well inland. So a good navy isn't going to be that useful to them. However, they have an island capital, which is, again, if there's no other navies in the area, basically invulnerable. And their mainland cities they found are right in the middle of a bunch of mountains. So they have a very good defensive position very early on. They're quite expansive, although perhaps not as expansive as their neighbors. But seriously, I am amazed they're 47th. I'm going to look where I ranked them now, actually, because I don't remember the exact number.
Yeah, I think
I have them in 28th.
They have like the 10th highest. They have one of the highest standard deviations.
Yeah, I have
like
them in
5 civs.
28th. Homasubi actually has them in 19th. So there's a lot of people who have a lot of faith in Haida, and a lot of people who, rightfully, I guess, see a 3-tile island start in the cack end of nowhere on bad terrain and go, yeah, they're not going anywhere. And you know what? There's been test games as well where they've been a bit useless. So it's a hard call, but I have a lot of hope for them.
So a weird thing about Haida that I found out only by playing as them, and I don't know if this was fixed for the Civ Battle Royale, because I don't know if anyone ever brought it up, is that their when the Enlightenment era mod is active, their unique trireme doesn't have an upgrade path. It's supposed to upgrade into the Caravel normally, but the Caravel is separated from the upgrade tree in Enlightenment era, and the mod does not do anything about that.
We
so
fixed
it never.
That.
Yeah, we did look into EE upgrades. I don't know if I hope that got patched.
Wait. Okay, guys.
That's been patched. That's been patched.
Koyos just brought up the UA. Naval melee units can attack on land, and bonk units can attack naval units.
I don't think
I love
they can
that ability.
I don't think they can attack Well, obviously they can attack naval cities. It's good. They're a good civ. They're a great naval. I think, and as well, I actually think embarked units can perform melee attacks on naval targets. That's true, but I think the embarked units have a fairly bad melee power. I don't think they're that from memory.
Yeah, they're not that good, but they can finish off civilians and stuff, which is what you need.
Yeah.
I have a bold prediction, and I do not know this. My memory is so off, so this is beneficial. I legitimately have faith that Shikoku's capital will be Haida for 3 turns.
There's your hot take. Write it down now.
That's my spicy prediction.
You say prediction like you can't.
Oh yeah,
I could look at it, but at this point I've stopped myself looking at it.
Someone does need to make the prediction thread for pop.
I'll
someone
get on
do that.
Where's autistic not weird?
It'll take like 5 hours to do because I'm an idiot.
But yeah,
embarked giant death robot. Yeah, I mean, they're fun. What color is the Haida main color? I just want to hear you all say salmon. Why don't you say salmon?
Salmon. Alex Salmon.
Anything else, or can we move on?
Yeah, let's.
I think.
Do you want us to name some other fish like plaice, halibut?
I've said my piece.
I'm offended that I have the symbol.
So hang on, I just want to say I don't like Haida, but I'm biased. I like Yupik. Haida are just like a better version of Yupik.
They're gonna
All
roll.
right, so
I love Haida.
Quick thing about Shikoku, just for the audience to understand why they're not high or really low. When Shikoku were first given to us, they didn't settle all of Japan, which was dumb. But every time a unit moved a tile, basically Shikoku discovered a new tech. So Shikoku would be in the modern era by the time everybody else was in the classical era. But I just wanted to say, because Lax, you were complaining earlier about Korea being ranked much lower than Shikoku, or as we call him, Shikokoof. Notice the B-doof in the corner. I do think that they have what it takes to do better just because they have more space and because they get that science bonus. And everyone craves that juicy blue beaker juice.
It's worth saying after saying that I actually have Shikoku ranked higher than Korea in my rankings, but only by 2, I think. So not as much as it is in these rankings.
Yeah, but I think the thing is that the UA is meant to trigger with continents. It's meant to be like, a load less. So I think that the one in the spreadsheet that we've got isn't actually right. But because otherwise that's like a really, really small buff. But the uniques are not that bad.
Like,
They've
Homu
tried-
fixed the bug. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to clarify. Homu fixed the bug where it moved a tile every turn and it discovered a new tech. But
Oh yeah, the bug is
yeah.
fixed. They're not.
Yeah,
They're not going to be in the modern era super early.
because of that, like they have good biases, like really, really, really good biases. But for science and teching up, so they're basically Korea. But on the other hand, their uniques are like kind of uninspired and basic. Like they've got a frigate with extra range, which is good, but it's not like universal. And the Civ AI is shit at naval warfare. And then the other U is just a pikeman that can build tile improvements. So it's not amazing.
It's not. It's. I mean, it's a great UU for the Civ, and it's actually would be a great UU just for fucking playing in the game. But it's not a great UU for an AI game.
Agreed there.
But I mean, that's Civ. That's Civ. That's what Civs are meant to be for. They're meant to be for playing with, and instead we just make them fight each other.
Yep, and we've now managed to turn Shikoku into a Pokemon.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, oh no, I can't remember why it's a bit off now. But
Unfortunately, Shikoku will not be appearing in Pokemon Sword and Shield because too many Pokemon.
Oh, don't do. No, I got my man. I got Reggie. He's not even there anymore, but I got him. Don't worry, he's coming.
Which Reggie?
Yes.
Fizame.
Reggie Fizame in Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Yes, the whole. Anyways,
So moving on.
He's the third
Moving on.
legendary. Pokemon
Number
Gun.
45.
Sulu.
I cannot believe you copied my comment.
I'm so impressed
I
with
just think
Sulu
you
this test.
They're a real contender if they continue to play their cards right.
Yeah,
Now, can
I'm-
someone
I-
explain
I
why they're a
honestly-
contender?
I'm so impressed with Sulu this test. They're a real contender if they continue to play.
Honestly, I'm rather impressed with Sulu this test. They might be a contender if they continue to play their dominoes right.
You can't just hang on. You can't just change the idiom. That's not how that
You
works.
cannot change your copy pasta.
Too late. I make the rule.
Memes
I'm really
aside,
confident with Sulu this test. They could be really good if they play their cards right.
guys.
So-
Memes aside, because we will just say that phrase over and over again if we don't.
I'm
So-
really impressed with the Zulu this test.
that the Sultanate of Sulu is actually a champion of a Groundhog Day.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Yeah, they won an entire mark with I think 1.5 points, which is the least points that anyone has ever won a Groundhog Day mark with. But they won a round and then they tied another one, which was completely unexpected, and they didn't do very well in most of the other rounds. But that was something.
So for context about the little spiel we gave in the beginning, that happened when Lunar was commenting on one of the tests, and his Discord freaked out and spammed the same message 3 or 4 or 5 times.
I did
So
not
that became
know
the topic.
this. This is legit. No, I don't believe you. I'm now looking at my logs. I do not believe this.
Dear. I think what you were saying about Groundhog Day, Cloudberg, is really interesting about them doing kind of badly on most of the runs and then just having 1.5 very good runs. That's kind of very similar to what we saw with Sulu in the tests, where a lot of the games they would sit on their admittedly real bad start, not expand too much, kind of get outclassed by Papua, and then occasionally they just turn it around, build a really good navy, and fuck shit up. Personally, I was a big Philippines fan in Mark II. They were my boys, and we
Yeah, settling Taiwan.
59th. So we kind of finished top 10 because we got revived. Don't worry about it. But I could see Sulu going a similar way to the Philippines. Not just because they start in the same place, but just because they're gonna have a similar AI, and that it's a really exposed spot. That spot, you're right in the middle of like a lot of different kind of trade routes. Canton can access the Philippines really easily. Tongu can access the Philippines really easily. Papua, Australia, the Murray can all access Sulu really easily. Shikoku can access Sulu.
The other China, even the other China, so you, Qing and stuff can get east enough and take
so I
Korea.
think Yeah, I think they really run a risk of making a lot of enemies very quickly. And again, they have quite an exposed starting place. But that said, they also have a lot more room in the Philippines because there's no Indonesia getting in their way. So if they do want to settle, they basically can get the whole Philippines down. They can get all of
They
Borneo
can get
down.
the Wonder Krakatoa.
Yes, they can get the natural Wonder Krakatoa. They're the nearest civ to that, I believe. I think Tongu might be nearer, but Tongu don't start with optics. Or rather the sailing tech.
You mean Papua?
Sulu will do.
I will also say the Sultan of Sulu is a real glass cannon. We have seen in a test before the Sultan of Sulu conquering the Canton pirates, just cuz. So really, for me, when ranking the Sultan of Sulu, I'm kind of a bit more confident than I am with most civs, in that really it could be a coin flip where they could end up being just like this tiny little one island nation, or they could end up being a real powerhouse in the Indies and also, conquering Southeast Asia. Like, they could really make a name for themselves.
Yeah. I think the other thing about Sulu is that you're looking at a civ that if Canton go west, they could go up into China and get the good land there. Or if like Papua goes south, they can get a lot of Indonesia and other places. But again, it's like the Korea argument. They're relying on other civs to play badly to do well.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good cover of them. I agree with the fragile comment. I'm just wanted to say that in accord. They are a fragile dragon. Tonga could literally say hi.
Yeah, do you want to move on to Timurids 2.0?
Sure. Let's talk about the Seljuks.
It's the Seljuks.
So just an aside here. When I was making all the slides, I made every slide except for the Seljuks. I forgot about the Seljuks. So further to the Timurid comparison, Seljuks.
The Seljuks are just Parthia but worse. Discuss.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's oof.
You know what makes me a little bit upset, and I'm not mad at you, Lax. You were all about the Seljuk Turks for so long, and then after they got voted in, their ass, and I really wanted Iran, but that's just me. Again, I'm not angry.
Don't worry, J-Man. J-Man, we can have
Did I rep Seljuks?
Much.
Yeah, you did.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
you have
hyped them up a
the
lot.
Afsharids are my number one for this region. That's who I wanted.
The greatest sin about the Seljuk Turks is that they might hold Oman back. That's the thing that makes me the saddest. I see them in a very Prussian situation, and I earnestly do not know why they are ranked this high.
I ranked them lower personally.
Oh, and I was muted the whole time for the stream, so shh.
But yeah, I think the other thing about the Seljuks is that whilst they might also spoil, they might straight into Parthia and like feed Parthia capital. So Palmyra even.
Oh, Palmyra, yeah. I will say about the Seljuks, their starting location, and I think this would be the same for any civ. Their starting location in this area, sorry. Their starting location is just pants. I mean, we saw how Persia did in Mark 1. Persia aren't a great AI. They're not a bad one, though, by any means.
Darius is pretty good for domination, yeah.
But that starting location, Persepolis, the capital, never really got off like 10 population. And it's kind of the same with the Seljuks and Esfahan, their capital. It's just bad real estate to start off the game in. And yeah, you can't really recover from that. If that hits you early game. I'm going to have to stop talking because my cat's just come here and decided to meow incessantly. Can you guys hear that?
No.
Oh, good. That's a relief.
I think the other thing about the region is that, the only couple of civs that can get off the ground are the Irans, because I think a couple of them have mountain or like hill food stuff. And they start further up in the Iranian capital, like Baghdad. But yeah, in the middle of
Iran's starting
Iran.
Sorry, I don't know Middle Eastern geography.
Tehran,
which is better than Persepolis and Isfahan.
Yeah, that covers literally all my opinions about the Seljuks. They are Timurids 2.0.
It says something that I chose this as my time to mute and then talk to someone else. I'll come back as soon as we go to 4.
Well, should we move on then?
I mean, the next civ aren't that much better.
The Kukurika.
They are.
Kukuriko.
I found a spot lower than 61 just to fit them there.
I think it's pronounced Kuikoro.
Kuikoro under Annette U umlaut.
I want to actually play this civ. It looks fun. Why do you not settle more cities? That is dumb.
They settle cities. The issue is that they lose them all to Uruguay, Venezuela, or the Nazca, and then they're left with their capital, which just has an absolute load of jungle that they don't chop down, and it's literally impossible to capture their capital until you get artillery, or unless you somehow manage to get units in the right position. But I've seen the Kuikuro. They've gone like 50 turns of siege where they just have their capital remaining, and like the other civs couldn't take their capital city. It's honestly quite funny. The Kuikuro, they're a meme, basically.
Yeah. I mean, they were put in the game, not because they were voted in, but because they were the only civ that could balance the region, because Venezuela kept eating Gran Colombia and then just destroying South America.
They were third after Venezuela and Gran Colombia, I should say.
Yeah.
They were.
It wasn't just we picked the most balanced.
That was after myself and a lot of Blue Cassette realized, oh shit, if Venezuela and Gran Colombia get in, it's not going to be good. So we tried to make it so that another civ would get in ahead of one of the two popular civs.
Guys,
that was a very stressed time in the dev chat.
Geographic damp.
Can you imagine a world where we got Venezuela, Gran Colombia, and Techno's Uruguay?
Yes, the world would be Venezuela win, because Venezuela just ate Gran Colombia within like.
The world would be Uruguay win.
No, because Venezuela was the original Venezuela were also the broken science Venezuela. That's like teched up super fast.
Yeah.
Broken policy actually.
Yeah, so broken policy versus broken AI, who would win? Honestly, that would be quite a battle.
Original Venezuela would be original.
We can do Gary Oak AI Royale.
Original Venezuela wasn't even technically broken. They just weren't designed with the 61 civ game in mind, because
yes, they denounced everybody
and when there are 61 civs and they denounce like every single civ that they meet, that's a lot of culture that they were.
Oh god, Coyote says he ran many tests and he has never seen their capital be taken.
Yep.
It will happen eventually.
There's a new Algeria. Have a look at the new Algeria civ.
Yeah.
The Kuikoro are going to be the new Tibet. That's who the Kuikoro are going to be.
They're like the entire world is going to be insert color of civ that you think is going to win here, and then there's just going to be that one light
this
green.
is amazing.
The Kuikoro would be like if Vietnam hated Tibet and was constantly at war with them, but just could not take a lot.
So by that logic, as Endless Void has pointed out, should we not be ranking the Kuikoro?
It depends on your ranking philosophy. Personally, a civ has to do at least sort of well for me to want to put them high, even if they might finish 10th because nobody can take their capital. If they don't do anything the whole game, they don't deserve to be there, and I'm not going to put them.
Can anyone explain the number 4 cue ball in the Algeria civ ball?
I have no idea.
No, okay. Moving on.
This is the new Luna. Can you put it on stream?
Someone in the chat will know what the number 4, the 4 purple cue ball.
What does the number 4 mean, guys, in this new civ ball? But yeah, about Kuikuro as well. Like, they're an interesting civ. They're an interesting culture. It's good for exposure. Like, I think there's a Gedemo Kuikuro that are like horrendous, but I can't confirm.
I think it's the Kuhikugu, and it is the same people.
Yeah, but it's like this is Gedemo's like Koyak civs, which are just awful. I think they're just they're in this region. In the mid-40s are just where the mare civs are, and that's what they are. They're a mare civ.
We have the answer that number 4 is used to depict pre Homo sapien humans, and we needed to depict a monkey because it was an Aladdin. So that happened.
All right, perfect.
It's kind of like an Australopithecus afarensis. I don't like the implications of that in the Aladdin lore. That it's kind of a pre-human hominid that's come into the present era.
Wait, no. If Aladdin's Chinese, number 4 means death. So the monkey is a bringer of death.
Okay, I think we've diverted off of Quick Row.
Shah.
The Shah who have the best new color.
As someone learning Mandarin, it's Xia.
Yeah.
For someone learning English, it's pronounced Sha. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to try.
For someone who doesn't know either language, it's pronounced Zia.
How about just XIA?
XIA.
Yeah.
So, why does everyone think that this is one of the lower rated Asian superpowers?
Because the other Chinas are better.
2 reasons. Number 1, they are AI-wise not awful, but the least good of the 3, just in general in history. But number 2, more to the point, they're just in the middle, and it's not nice to be in the middle. You want to be, ironically, for the Middle Kingdom, you want to be on the side. And that's kind of true of IRL China as well, where a lot of the big powerhouses, the Qin, were kind of on the edges of Western China. The Qing came from the Manchuria area originally. So it's nice in Civ to be on a flank. It means that the Qin, for example, aren't going to have much trouble with their western border because they've got that nice desert and especially the Himalaya boundary. The Qing face the sea on the other side, and who we think is obviously going to be a fairly inept Korea. And in the middle, we have the Xia, who are just not as much room to expand and more neighbors, which means more chance of invasion. It's as simple as that.
I base my low ranking of them mostly off of previous AI game appearances. They were one of the worst civs in Groundhog Day Mark II. Consistently died very early.
I have to jump in. I have to jump in from that one. I personally see the Xia as one of the best civs out there, AI-wise, on one condition. It has to capture a capital first. It has to start that snowball.
Oh, yeah. You have to get those
Yeah, I've seen it happen.
We have seen one very strange AI game, for example, where the Xia were just middling for a very long time, but then they sniped a capital, and then they just quickly conquered everyone. And meanwhile, I've also seen, the Mark II Groundhog Day in which the Xia were present, all I remember is them being next to a lake and then getting boxed in by Denmark. I think it was Denmark. Might have been another civ. But
it was Denmark, Norway.
Yeah, Denmark, Norway, who can build citadels on water.
Yeah, so basically I was watching a murder because, of course, the AI was going to settle the city in the same spot. And just being inland and being surrounded by civs that really don't have, many civs bordering themselves that are a lot more aggressive is going to lend to them being killed outright. Now the Xia are in the helpful position where they are, their backs are against the water, so they don't really have too many borders with people. If they can manage to take Canton, to take Shikoku, to take Qing less likely, but still, we could probably see Xia become a real surprise underdog, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, if Qin do just feed into them, and they can manage to get the capital off of Qin and maybe even Cambodge or Canton, that, like you just said, they will just start stomping people.
I actually think Canton are more likely. Canton are a civ with a huge naval focus, but quite an open area land-wise. So I actually think Shah's best option is to beeline Canton. Sorry, Scissor.
Yeah, I think not even it's not even Canton's fault. Honestly, I think otherwise Chin can get strong, Qing can get strong, but if they do manage to somehow take out Qing, then they will probably roll straight through Korea and Shikoku. So they'll be interesting to watch.
Guys, has it just occurred to anyone that it's quite confusing that we have Qin and Qing?
Nope.
And we might soon, depending on how far the Shah get, have Qin, Qin, and Qin.
The three chins.
Which chin is bigger? No, so guys, this is a fun fact. If the CR are programmed such that if Qin is already in the game and they advance to that dynasty, they become Western Qin. But the problem is they're east of the actual Qin in the game, so they'll be Western Qin, but they'll be to the east.
We changed that. Sorry.
Aw,
But,
yeah,
but
we did.
I think the thing about China that annoys me the most is there's a lot of cool Chinese civs, like the Song, like the Tangut, Northern Yuan, that aren't in this. But hopefully will be, because I think Xia are interesting and they've got a good gimmick, but they've not got a good AI game gimmick, really. Unless they get lucky.
The Shah are low-key my favourite Civ 5 mod.
Wow.
They are up there for me as well. They're just so well designed.
But will they win? Do you think, honestly, that they'll win CBRX?
No. Moving on, who's 41?
Where's Glide when we need him to talk about the Glide campaigned so hard for the Ottomans.
Yeah. Rip. Ottomans are so interesting in how they have the opportunities to affect so many theaters and can also very likely choose to affect none of them, depending on how they play. They're another case. Look at Madagascar. Look at the Isle of Man. How their settle will matter the most. That is another Ottoman situation where if they settle up and Manoa settles south, they can have two very strong empires, but one city and honestly majority of the Middle East could be weakened. I want to see Ottomans completely go mad, but I don't think it's happening.
One thing I like about the Ottomans is they have some evil Renaissance UUs. There's the Janissary, which is a slightly weaker one, which just gets a combat bonus when attacking, and it heals
Vampire.
damage every time it destroys a unit. Yeah, which is nice. But then
it's not. It is the BNW nerfed version, so it's not heals to full. It's heals 50%.
Okay, cool. And then we get the Bombard. The Bombard replaces the cannon, but is unlocked at gunpowder, which is a hell of a lot earlier. But the big change here, although it's slightly weaker in general, 350% combat bonus versus cities. The cannon gets a 200% bonus. So that is nearly double.
Doesn't it also have 3 range, or am I thinking of an earlier version of the?
It does. It has 3 range.
3 range. And on top of that, it being unlocked earlier means the defenses of the cities around it are going to be weaker than it would be if it was unlocked when the Bombard is usually unlocked. In other words, this thing is dynamite, literally. It's if the Ottomans get there, they're going to have a very, very good 100 years. So
the strength of the Bombard against cities, the cannon against cities is 28 with 200%. The strength of the Bombard against cities, even though it's weaker, because its bonus is so much bigger, it's like 38.
That is...
It's ludicrous.
It is stronger than cities.
But
I also want to point out that,
so they won't get it forever.
I also want to point out, quick history lesson. In the history of the Ottoman Empire, the Great Bombard, which was fielded by the conqueror Mehmed II, there was only one ever fielded, and after it was used to destroy the Theodosian walls, it was buried, only to be found in the late 20th century, I believe. So I just wanted to point out that for some reason, the Ottomans had the greatest weapon on Earth, the most powerful, most devastating weapon on Earth at the time, and just decided to bury it.
They just didn't want to be too OP. It's fair. It's game balancing. That's fair.
Yeah, they